6 months to 12 months is a dynamic development. At 6 months, everything matures. The immune system, the gastrointestinal system, kidneys, hemoglobin, brain particularly. What happens with the brain that we have been talking about, the neuroscience, the frontal lobe that sits on the eye sockets, which is very exclusive property of the human nature, is connecting very rapidly. When the infant cries and the parent picks up, crying becomes a learned behavior. Self-soothing is what we want through redirection and reward system, and the reward is nothing other than having to praise them with a smile and a clap. At the same time, sleep disorder takes over. Sleep disorder means that the children are afraid to sleep and parents are tired to put them to sleep and make them self-soothe to sleep. They sleep with the infant. This promotes anxiety, attachment disorder, and insecurity. These infants think that they cannot survive if the primary caretaker is not holding them. And it is only the primary caretaker, the mother, who can make them understand that I do not need to hold you, you can soothe yourself and be less frustrated. This is choice making. And this can happen if you have a bedtime routine. You give the bedtime bath by 7:45. If you expect your baby to sleep by 8:30 and get up by 6:30 in the morning. A hot bath, a last feeding for the night while you are playing a soft soothing music, which is called as a white noise, and then read a book, a story book, in a self-soothing way. And when the baby is not quite asleep on the mom's or the dad's arms, take them into a dark, pitch dark, quiet room with the white noise and put them to sleep. In the first 3 days, they cry vigorously to an extent that they may want to vomit after coughing and choking. And that gets down to 20 minutes by 4th day, and they learn to self-soothe to sleep by the 14th day. This is called a permanent hardwiring of the infant. This is very important because this teaches self-trust, worth and security, and a very critical phase of a child's life. Otherwise, an anxious brain, even if you throw toys and educational toys around them and you are sitting with them, are very anxious and do not learn from them. A mother can sit away from the infant, but while the mother is watching, an infant can self-soothe and play when this has been taught. And they are very social with the strange adults when the mother is around or the primary caretaker is around. If this social emotional learning has a drawback in parents' love failing to teach this, this does cause intellectual disabilities or poor cognitive associations majority of the times, because this cuts down an opportunity for the infant to interact with the surroundings and learn from that. Another major important thing that happens is frequent fevers. Infants get frequent fevers because mother's passive and maternal antibodies are out of the system. They are on their own fighting infection, has nothing to do with the teething, nothing to do with the infection proneness because their immune system is disturbed. This is called physiological immunodeficiency state. They pick up an infection, they fight over the 14 days and they get back to normal, they pick up another infection. This is how they form their active antibodies and after losing the passive antibodies. This goes on until 36 months of life. But then the problem is the panic with the fever. Every fever parents feel like need to be treated with something. If the infant is playing well after giving a fever medicine and does get back to normal play and interaction at the end of the 4th hour gets fever again, that infant is fine. He needs to fight his own infections. We can help promote the immune system with probiotics, lots of greens like spinach, kale, blueberries, tomatoes, green beans, all these have antioxidants that will help the infant. We do not prefer giving fruits as the first choice, but green beans, beets, squashes, carrots, spinach, kale, zucchini, all these mixed with the rice cereal, which is the first primary food infant should be eating, will offer the immunity. Again, probiotics have a major role in controlling infections also, to be given maybe 3 times a week. Now we skip into the 7th month to 8th month, when the motor coordination permits them to scoot, to crawl by 9 months, and they are engaging more with the thumb finger grasp and more like patty cake, and then exploring more from the environment. But they also identify the characters. When parents regularly read 4 to 5 books a day, they are very enthused to hold a book rather than cry for unnecessary things. So, reading 4 to 5 books a day is important, self-soothing for sleep training is important, moving away from the myth that teething is causing vomitings, diarrhea, fever, and try to help the immune system with antioxidants, and proper nutrition is very important at this stage. And by the 9th month, they are crawling, they are cruising around the furniture, and then the first thing parents say is, no, don't go there, come here baby, or try to control them or curtail them. Instead, if they have their own 4 square feet to 6 square feet to 9 square feet of an area, which is called pack and play in United States, they can offer toys or books or a little ball that the infant can stay mobile and play, rather than giving walkers and bouncers, which prevent motivational factor for motor movement. And this is very important at this age, that they explore with the blocks, throw the blocks into a big container and out, and then adapt to specific phonemic sounds where they can identify mama, dada, and identify themselves as a baby and point to parts of their body also. So, the specific mama, dada starts by 9 months, and it is very dynamic by 12 months that they develop 4 to 5 words other than mama, dada, if the parents read to them and keep them engaged with the reading. Sleep training is very, very important all the way, and when the infant gets sick, parents resort to putting them back in their bed because they feel guilty. That throws them back in developmental skills with this infant. So, puzzles are important, blocks are important, abacus and singing numbers is important, rhyming alphabets is important. By 12 months, the infant can take 2 to 3 steps independently, can identify all the alphabets, can even repeat the phonemes of the alphabets if the parents have engaged them in conversations. And eating is a major issue from 6 months to 12 months. We should let the infants finger their foods by 9 months, but when we start the first group of foods, we should start with vegetables, because as I said, this permanent wiring is called hard wiring. We need to hardwire them to make healthy food choices. And if we start with the spinach, green beans, then the sweet foods like carrots, and stay persistently with the same food group until the infant has accepted it. It takes about 7 to 10 days of hard work on the part of the parents. Continue breastfeeding as much as possible until 15 to 18 months, and gradually wean off to whole milk at least once a day between 11.5 to 12 months, and then gradually decrease the breastfeeding and substitute with a cup between 9 months to 12 months. Starting with the water first, and 11.5 months with the milk, whole milk or 2% milk. Again, this is the critical stage where we have to pay attention to sleep training, separation and stranger anxiety, self-engagement skills. We can give non-toxic crayons and have them scribble. We read to them, reading skills, vocabulary enhances as we name the objects and make associations like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, apple, put an apple in the hand. B, ball, put a ball in the hand. B, book, put a book in the hand. Ha, hair, head, hand rather than something else that they don't see. Likewise, we can make cognitive associations. They learn very rapidly with the eye-hand coordination, multisensory integration all the way. Thank you. I hope I have emphasized enough on the dynamic development for adaptive functions, social emotional learning, anxiety neurosis, attachment disorders, preventing myths about infections, and have the child fight their own infections. If they are very sick and listless, they do need to see a pediatrician. But teething is not causing the fever or the infections. No Oragel, no anesthetics on the tongue or on the gums. Thank you for listening.